And sourdough is the best. Let's rank breads.
Sourdough.
Number
rye.
one.
I like rye.
Rye, number two. Potato bread.
Oh.
Do you like potato bread?
Yes.
Or are you just saying that to mimic me?
I like potato bread.
Potato bread, number three.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs Podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
I find that the best activities are activities that you do with another person. Except in board gaming. I hate co-op games. Co-op games are my least favorite of games.
See, I think the best activities that you can have is when two individuals are trying to reach a common goal.
Oh, so sweet. Like in life, marriage.
No, like in
or other
appreciate marriage
activities.
Okay, I'm Gaby.
This is Jerry.
I'm Mike.
And we are here to discuss board games related to co-op games.
Board games and other stuff.
Other stuff. This is the banter section. Are we
banter section, engaged. Go ahead. You got something?
I don't have anything. I don't have anything.
You don't have nothing?
Here's the thing.
You're not good at bantering.
I don't like banter.
No,
but
this is your deal with banter. Yes. That's your problem with banter. Is like when you meet somebody new, it's like you don't want to small talk. Hey, how you doing? You like, so are you married? Why not? How do you feel about that?
I
What's
like to
going
know
on?
why
What's
they're
your
not
job?
married.
How come you don't have this job?
I like to know.
And sometimes people don't want to get that deep right then and there.
Why not?
They
Cuts to the chase.
But that's just not like protocol.
Who decides this? Is there an institution that says that this is small talk and this is not?
There might be.
Small talk
Who are
engage.
you?
I just walked
Oh,
in
there's
the house
Enrique.
and sat
Enrique's
down.
back. Great. Back with his sleeveless shirt. Another day, another sleeveless shirt. Do you have any shirts with sleeves? That's my question.
He's got a few.
Are they anything other than dress shirts?
Dress shirts.
No.
No.
Do you own dress shirts?
No,
I guess I should
he
start with
doesn't.
that. Or your dress shirts
He's got
also
one.
sleeveless?
Well, I have dress shirts that don't fit around my neck or are currently too short for my arm.
You got a fat neck.
Yeah,
But that's all right. We
can
love you
relate.
anyways. And I want to bring out something.
Fat neck.
I like.
Hashtag fat neck.
do you like fat necks?
Look. Look, I like fat necks and I cannot lie.
I like fat necks and I cannot lie. No other mother can deny.
No. This is why I don't like small talk, because it leads to dark places such as this where you end up quoting and saying things that I don't care
I just
about.
talked about fat necks.
No,
Enrique
look,
started it.
This is why I don't like small talk. This
Small
is why
talk.
I think
What?
small
No.
talk is stupid.
So, okay, if you meet a stranger, like you just meet a stranger, like, hey,
I
we're-
avoid people for the most part. But
I
when
understand that. But when you do meet somebody,
I say,
what is your go-to?
hello? Well, first off,
Hello, stranger.
hello, stranger. I have found, and this is actually a psychological intent.
Here we go.
And this is
I
something. This
love
is something that
psychology.
I know you do. Two things. One, I mimic them. Whatever their gestures or words are, I tend to try to take them on and
Mimicry.
a mimicry. And so, if they gesture a lot,
Did you mimic me the
Yeah,
first time you met me?
absolutely.
What did you do?
well, like I acted real jovial,
Insult me? Oh, okay.
and then acted like I couldn't remember anything. Oh, I can't. But no, you mimic the person, and they see themselves in you, and they think this is somebody who I like. The other thing I do is that normally when I'm talking to somebody and I'm trying to make small talk, as I get going on with them, I try to direct the conversation to things that are happy, in terms of happy memories. So, for instance, if I were to ask you, what is where do you like to go? What's the funnest place you've ever been?
The funnest place I've ever
Funnest
been.
place you've ever been.
Belize.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
There you
just
go,
went to
Mike.
Belize.
Mike shot out. I got to think because my life has not been that fun.
Oh, no, it goes way downhill after Belize. Bro.
Yeah, Belize was kind of a rough spot there. I like Colombia. It was nice.
What did you do in Colombia besides
No.
cocaine and
No.
coffee?
So this is why I don't do small talk. That's exactly why I don't do small talk.
I
But
just snorted.
yeah.
I cracked up my own joke.
You made a comment about cocaine and then snorted. Thank you. All the listeners will love that. No, I'm just saying is that when you ask somebody about a happy memory, they tend to associate it with you as they talk about it. They get happy in your
memory.
present.
Let me think about it.
You don't have any happy memories. Remember
Happy memories.
Do you remember the Arby's burger 5 for $5?
Oh, I do remember the
yeah.
Frisco burger.
Yes.
From Hardee's.
Yes.
The Frisco burger was a sourdough bun.
I love sourdough.
And sourdough is the best.
Best.
Let's rank breads.
Sourdough.
Sourdough
Yes,
number
Rye.
one.
I like rye.
Rye
Gaby
number
has been
2.
covering this
potato
approach
bread.
with
Oh.
Do you like potato bread? Or are you
Yes.
just saying that to
No,
mimic me?
I like potato bread.
Potato bread number 3. The rest can go to
White bread is like way down there.
white bread. When I was a kid,
That's sugar.
I was one of those kids whose mamas like didn't allow any sugar cereals or white bread.
How'd that
So it was
happen?
bran flakes and wheat bread.
Well, your colon was good then, wasn't it?
But as soon as I turned 18, I rebelled.
I bet.
I was like, only white bread and only tricks
Carbs
and
are
Cocoa
your
Puffs.
friends.
Carbs are my friend. Coincidentally, that's about the time I started gaining weight.
Lost your hair, gained
Lost my
weight.
hair, gained
White
weight.
bread.
White bread, it's amazing because like it, I like the way it tastes, but man, it gums up. Like you can roll it up into a little ball.
That's not what bread should do, though.
I know it's not natural,
It's not.
but it tastes so good, especially toasted with a little bit of butter on it. That's good stuff.
So let me tell you, we found a bun. I won't name. From
I like buns,
which,
hun.
From which fast food franchise it was from, in a corner in a closet at one of my stores, and there's nothing wrong with it. No telling how long it had been there, but there was
No
obviously,
mold on it?
I didn't eat it, but there was no mold on it. It was not deteriorated. It looked fine.
Interesting.
I don't think that was bread.
I would say McDonald's.
I don't think we're allowed to say that, but
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't be bashing another.
they do have a farm.
In my opinion.
McDonald's might be a
McDonald's.
sponsor one day.
You know, I remember somebody
They
saying,
do.
"Oh, they should sponsor Enrique. All he does is eat nuggets."
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
He's loving it.
I remember people saying like you could like say anything you want as long as you say "in my opinion." Like even if you're talking, I would never do this, but they were like saying, like if somebody come up to you, like even say a police officer. Like you could say what you want to them as long as you say "in my opinion." Da 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 da.
Okay, in my opinion, that is completely wrong.
I'm sure it is.
That's
And
not-
I have no drugs in my car.
See, that's not how that works. That's
I know.
not how that
I
works.
just always heard that.
Yeah, and you've heard it
Your
wrong.
Honor, Your Honor.
In my opinion.
In my opinion,
I'm going to stand up. In my opinion, I'm not guilty.
Not guilty.
drop mic, walk out,
Walk out.
get tackled.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
I thought we could have opinions.
No, that's
Yes,
not,
I was wrong.
That's not how that worked. This is okay. This is why I hate the banter section of our
What?
podcast, because I don't like the banter. I like to talk about what I come to talk about. and I
But
can't
yet
talk about
you
things.
yourself, as I have proven, said, let's have a banter section.
No, if
Because you know what? Listen to me. You there, Jerry Baker. I have a friend that listens.
who
Me.
you have no friends.
I'm not going to say. I'm going to
Well,
protect
technically,
those who
isn't he
shall
your
not be
friend?
named. And they're like, yeah, I like the part where y'all just like talk. And it's like, it's just kind of like, you don't go into the specifics, but like basically the banter section. They like that section.
This
And-
is not the banter game snobs. This is the board game snobs.
well, but you always cut to the board games.
Well, because
I
that's
like talking about other stuff. Because say they have not played or don't plan on playing the games we're going to discuss.
they might.
Well, the stuff we talk about beforehand gives them another reason
There's
to listen.
nothing that we say that's of importance.
But people like it.
Is this content?
I mean, do you
People like
really
it.
need an
Content.
appetizer? Maybe.
Most times.
I mean, sometimes I just like to have nacho
eating
cheese.
Suckers. You guys all like your appetizers.
I like nachos.
Well,
Just saying,
or potato
stuffed
wedges.
mushrooms.
You let me know when we've progressed past the banter and we can cut to the chase.
7 more seconds.
All right.
We'll be 10 minutes into banter.
I see our waiter coming.
Okay, hold.
Welcome to Chili's.
There we go.
All right, so here's the deal.
You can't say Chili's.
Co-op.
In my opinion, you can't say Chili's.
He named names.
Welcome to
So really, that's true. You can't name names.
I have
No, you
idea.
can name names.
Yeah.
Chili's might be a
Names
sponsor
names.
one day. I like their 2 for $20.
I just don't think we can bash them.
You can't make fun of
I can
Chili's.
say whatever I want. This is Gary
my
said
opinion.
it. In my opinion,
This is murder.
I don't like them. We're talking about board games that we don't like.
Oh, yeah, well.
You don't like
But,
Chili's?
No,
Wait,
I
it's a
love
board
Chili's.
game?
I don't like Applebee's.
I'm there with you.
In my opinion.
No. Okay, I am firm on this fact.
Wait a
Applebee's has
minute,
a
wait a
terrible
minute.
wait staff everywhere I go.
It's universal. I don't know where
Universal.
they're finding these
Thank you, Mike.
individuals, but
Team Mike and Gaby on this one.
they cannot hire a
Actually, make
decent
that
waiter
Team
or
Gaby.
waitress.
And Mike and Mag. My father does not like.
Really?
I knew I liked
He
that.
Yeah.
refuses to go to an
I knew it.
Applebee's.
We were of one mind.
I knew we were on something there.
Well, I'm glad that we could all agree on our hatred for Applebee's.
Chili's, though.
Chili's, that's delightful.
I'm with Michael
My
Scott
baby,
on
my
Chili's.
baby.
I like Chili's. It's a fun place.
It's fun.
We should go to
I
Chili's
always
after
go to
this.
Chili's, order a few drinks.
I want to get that
feeling
Presidente
good.
Margarita.
El Presidente.
Blackberry sweet tea, love it.
Ah, I like
And
it.
I only order the El Presidente by saying, I'll take the El Presidente.
Does
You
any-
say, I want the president?
does,
Yes.
Margarita?
does-
Yes.
the pres- does
Nobody translates in Chili's.
Here's the thing. Chili's was only a thing back in the day because of that onion blossom thing.
Awesome Blossom.
The awesome blossom.
That they stole from
They stole
Outback.
that,
Outback Steakhouse.
and they made that.
Which
and
came
they
first?
Advertised it, the Outback.
Can you prove that?
But nobody
Yeah.
knows because they were down under.
Can you prove that? That the Outback had the blossom first?
Why are you singing?
I don't know.
Don't bust out in the
Just
song.
let it up.
This is the banter section is over.
Okay, go.
This is over.
Okay.
This is over.
Whenever I make up a song, it's time to move
I am
on.
not co-opting this anymore. We are moving on to a discussion about
I'll decide.
co-op games.
We
And
are
we're go-
moving on to a discussion of co-op games.
Thank you for that.
The first one we're going to discuss. Actually, no. Jerry, you always mess this up. Me and Mike. Okay, Okay, we're not going to co-op yet. Me and Mike played, and I introduced him to and his family Istanbul.
Istanbul.
Istanbul came out in 2014.
Please tell us all about it.
Everything.
Please, everything. Who is the artist
Who made it?
The artist was Andreas Resch,
and the distributor,
Hans Georg Schneider,
the publisher,
Pegasus Spiel,
the
plus
producer?
14 more.
Okay. Who designed
The
it?
designer is Rudiger Dorn.
Oh, Rutger Dorn.
He's done quite a bit of things.
He was in
Quite a
Blade
bit
Runner,
of
wasn't he?
things is that old phrase. He's done Karuba, Steam Time,
Oh,
Luxor.
Steam
which
Time?
He just did Luxor, which came out this week.
This week. This week in board gaming. Luxor.
This year,
Last year. It was last year.
2018.
Wow.
Luxor nominated for Spiel des Jahres.
Spiel des Jahres. He
Didn't win.
Didn't win.
What did win? 2018.
It was Azul.
2018.
Azul, wasn't it? Pretty sure.
Wow. He's made that I see here on his list abridged list of notable games. 1, 2, 3. He's made quite a few games. Steam Time, I enjoy that as an introductory game. Jerry does not. Istanbul. Okay, well, let's go into Istanbul.
Let's talk about Istanbul. Do you want me to describe what Istanbul is? Because I'm
Go
good at
ahead, Jerry.
describing things.
Describe.
I will start off by saying I don't particularly enjoy Istanbul. It's a fine game. It's one of those Oscar bait games. Like they knew this was going to get the Spiel des Jahres or at least be nominated for it. But it's a game that you set out these tiles, these big fat tarot sides card tiles, and you move your little discs around. And there's one disc on top that's the boss, and the disc underneath it are the assistants. And you can move to these other tiles, and you drop off your assistant and then do that action. So it's like a pseudo worker placement. And the actions that you are taking are basically gathering one of these three resources, these bananas or spices or fruits or whatever they are. And you're trying to move around the board, upgrade your cart so you can carry more resources, and then sell those resources for jewels or they're rubies. They're rubies. You're selling them for rubies.
Rubes.
And you're basically bouncing around this board, dropping off your workers and doing these actions. But then
Assistance.
your assistants. But at the same time, sometimes you have to go back and meet at the fountain because just like at Walmart, if your mom left you and they can't find you, you meet at the snack bar. The same thing is in Istanbul. You go back to the fountain and all your assistants come back. They pile up underneath the boss and you bounce back around, dropping them off and getting resources. It's an okay game.
Well, everyone else disagrees with you.
It's okay.
2014 Golden Geek, Best Family Game, Best Strategy Game, Board Game of the Year nominee. Oh, hold on. Those are all nominees. 2014 Kennerspiel Desjaris winner.
Desires. Ooh. Let me say this before I leave, because I'm about to leave. Because
Where are you
going? I've got some coffee brewing I'm going to get.
Okay.
And so I'm going to leave the fans in your care and keeping while I go make my on-lot coffee. If you want a game that's really good, that's actually better than Istanbul,
Don't, because that's a step after, I believe.
the game you're looking for
Yokohama.
is Yokohama.
I
We'll leave
understand
that with
that.
you.
I understand that, but Istanbul is a good family game.
I don't like
Introductory
families.
to that style.
Whatever.
You have a family. How do you not like families?
I like my family. I don't like playing games with my family. You know why?
Why?
Because they're not strategic enough.
Your wife beats you at everything you play.
And that's her thing.
Didn't your wife beat you at Scythe once?
Shut up.
I have to get Jen on the podcast. Okay, Mike, since you're the one that played this, what did you think of it?
Again,
You, and your wife? And that was it. It was the three of us. No, little Mike wasn't
Yeah,
there.
little Mike didn't play, so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. My wife really enjoyed it. Now here's the thing, because in the previous podcast or in a future podcast, depending on which order you put them out in, we talked about board games with multiple sides, all right? About how that elevated the game because you can play it whether it's expanded, different people. Now the great thing about Istanbul is the order of those cards changes. You could potentially change it every single time that you play. Now we played in
The variable setup.
it's a variable setup. Now we played in the beginner or the
The first one I played, I set it up with their suggested like beginner's setup, basically. And it like sets all the things you need in certain areas that are going to be close to each other. So you can just go back and forth in those few areas.
Loved it. I loved that portion of the game. But also there's not just one clear cut way of winning the game. I believe, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I won the first one. I believe so.
Hold on, let me check.
Now, watch my wife actually.
Hold on, you check.
If you're listening.
I won the first one.
Oh, well, see,
I explained it to you how the game works.
I never would have guessed that.
So I was like, this is how the game works. Okay, I beat you.
Yeah. No.
But once you figured the game out, you won the second one.
Yeah. And it even though the second game was kind of, I can't remember how we set it up, but it was just random.
No, that one, we literally, they have like the short way. That's like the first setup. It's like, okay, you can go here, and then a few steps over is how to get points from that. Then they have they have different ways to set it up, like a long setup. Like it's the longest path to get what you need from here over to here. Mm-hmm. Or you can just throw them out there. And that's what we did on the second game. I just threw them out there and we played.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed both times. It's probably a game that I'll be adding to my collection.
Really?
Because we really liked it, yeah.
It's good. I liked it a lot. Yeah. So where would you, Istanbul or Raiders?
Everything compares to Raiders.
Yes, it's a good touchstone. Silence.
I would have to say Raiders. Just barely. Just barely. I did like Istanbul a lot.
So what do you prefer over Raiders?
I guess the exact opposite of what I was saying. I like that you know exactly where you're going with Raiders. Now we play a little bit differently because we've changed a minor detail.
You've made up your own rules.
Yeah, minor detail when it comes to Raiders. Just because with Raiders, if you have a player that you're playing with, they will go in guns a-blazing and wipe out all the fortresses and the game's over, and nobody got a chance to really build anything up.
Right.
Because they don't care about getting to that next tier when you're raiding. So we changed a little bit, and that game lasts a little bit longer. And I don't know, just that particular portion of it, the direction you're going. Whereas with Istanbul, you've got to look at the board, and you've got to figure out what direction you're going to take it to be able to score the most rupees or rubies?
I think they're just rubies.
It's Istanbul. You'd think it'd be rupees.
I don't know what they do in Istanbul,
Me neither.
but they're red,
They are red.
ruby red. So I want to go with rubies.
Oh yeah, rupees are green. I don't know.
I have no idea. You're talking about a monetary unit. I do not know that well.
Either way, yeah, you'd have to adjust your strategy depending on the way the board's set up, and that's awesome to me.
Okay, yeah, I like Istanbul. It's another one of those games, much like Concordia that we mentioned in our last podcast. I forget how much I like it.
Yeah.
And it's a solid game, and it's a different style game than what, a lot of games we play where you have two moves, you can leave an assistant behind, and wherever you end up, that's the move you make, and you collect things on this board. And I like that personal board where you keep track of all your stats, all your goods, and then if you use them up, you just move your marker back on those little slots.
Mm-hmm.
I forget all the things that you collect, but yeah, anyway. I like a personal board. I like the personal board in the game, and it's just, it's good. It's good. I like the leaving the assistants behind, and then if you run out of assistants, well, then you got to go the fountain and bring them all back, and it's unique in its delivery system of worker placement, basically. Not worker placement, action selection, I guess you would say.
Yeah. And it's you guys use the word fiddly a lot, but it is definitely not a fiddly game.
No, I like that. That's a good point. Because like you set out the board, you set out the rubies, you have your workers, you're done.
You're ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Clean up. If you're cleaning up, it's because you've stretched yourself too thin, and you got to go back to the fountain and collect everybody.
Yeah. Good. Solid game. Istanbul. All right. So next we're going to discuss Pandemic, which I introduced to you and your family as well. And your wife likes that quite a bit.
Yes. We're actually,
as we go into our co-op segment.
The co-op section. Now, see, that's really the portion of that game that we like. We jump straight into the hardest mode of Pandemic.
Legendary?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we're masochists.
Did you beat it?
No.
Did you beat it?
No.
Did you beat it on simple?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever go to the simplest?
Where the 4 cards? The 4
I don't know. It's like
infections.
It's like easy, normal, hard.
Yeah, we played easy first, jumped straight to
hard.
The hardest. Yeah, and we were able to beat it in easy, and I think we did play one in the medium, and we beat it. But yeah, we went straight to hard, and I think the reason why we like it so much is because it's not, you just can't beat it. There's different characters that you can play as that have different special abilities that are advantageous to getting rid of the disease or getting rid of these different infections in the different areas. However, there's no clear cut like which character is best or which combination's best. You just got to play around with it. And
which ones do you like the most?
The medic is really good, which allows you to
clear out multiple, right?
Yeah, clear out multiple. Now, see, if you already have the cure, you don't have to use an action to clear out the space. If you land there, it automatically clears out the space. However, if you do not have the cure yet, then when you land, you use an action and it clears out everybody. So that's a really good one. I believe the other one is the researcher.
Yeah,
the researcher. Which
is that the one that trades cards?
I think it's where you can trade cards. You trade knowledge back and forth a lot easier. You don't necessarily have to be on a specific city. You just have to be in the same city as a person to trade your knowledge. Another good one is being able to build.
So you're like naming 3 good ones. They're all good.
No.
They're all good.
These are the three. These are the three.
Okay.
The one that allows
when I played with me and you and your wife, like we won.
Yes.
You were the medic. I was the dude that could trade cards anywhere.
Yeah. And my wife's always the one that allows you to build.
She could build hospitals or whatever. Yeah. We beat it. We beat it on normal. Yeah. I think that's like the second time I've ever beat that game.
Love it.
And I think I've heard that the more players you got, the easier it is to beat. For some reason, I don't know why.
Unless, and I'm sorry if you're listening to this, little Mike. Unless you're third player.
Are you going to play it for him?
No, I'm not going to play it.
Okay, well then maybe he won't know it. But go ahead.
Maybe in a few years when you listen. No.
This is permanent.
No,
little Mike, we still love you.
Yeah, we do. And don't
okay,
stop
so
playing.
Mike and then little Mike. That's the son of Mike.
Yes. It's too much like me, unfortunately. I'm sorry again.
Didn't burn too much brain power on that name, did you?
No. Nope.
What are we going to call this one? Lil Mike?
Lil Mike. We had a second one. What are we going to call this one? DJ, what's your first name?
Whatever you are, the same thing again.
What are you talking about? I'm back.
Oh, God.
We're
hey, hold on. Wait. But anyway, back to pandemic.
I'm glad that I'm back.
Oh, Jerry's back. Jerry had to take a little break and go get him some coffee.
I love coffee. Love late night coffee.
Do you drink coffee?
I drink coffee before I go to bed. Yes. I drink it black. I drink it white. I drink it without sugar, with sugar, espresso, mocha, cappuccino.
This is a problem for me.
Oh, no.
I have come to like the powdered creamer for coffee that's like literally the worst. It's like the highest saturated fat, high fructose. It's terrible.
That is literally gluten and high fructose corn
It's
syrup.
terrible, but I love it. I love it.
If you keep doing that, you'll end up dying.
I know I will.
Of some weird disease.
Okay,
like a pandemic. I'm segueing this hard. Pandemic. I loaned Gaby my copy of Pandemic on the Brink and various other expansions with it.
Have not played it yet.
Because Pandemic is a special game to me. One, it's one that I somewhat enjoy. I don't like playing it often because it's co-op. I don't like co-ops. But two, it was like the first board game I played with my wife.
Oh, nice.
We was on vacation. I was getting back in the gaming and went into a board game shop. Said, hey, been out of the game for a while. What do I need? And the guy pulled off Pandemic and said, here you go. Take off with it. I enjoyed it. It's a nice little puzzle. It's something that I don't generally like to break out, but I think that everybody should play Pandemic. I'm sorry.
Coffee kicking in?
Coffee, Death Wish Coffee.
Who made it?
Death Wish Coffee.
Who made that coffee?
Death Wish Coffee is the most highly caffeinated coffee in the world. You can get on Amazon.
Wait. Are you saying a true fact?
Yes. I love Death Wish Coffee.
It's called the one
Death
that they
Wish?
put the butter in, is it?
No, that's that silver bullet, whatever.
That's that bulletproof.
No, not bulletproof.
weird.
No. That's for
Wish
keto
coffee.
stuff.
Why do you put butter in your coffee?
Because in ketosis, you need high fat, zero carb.
It's just
And coffee
an excuse
gives
for
you...
somebody to drink a stick of butter, though.
Well, but you get the high fat, which fills you up and satiates you. The keto diet. You need the keto diet. That's keto diet stuff.
I would just like
Which
to say,
my wife is on right now. So there you go. That's why I
just
know
like
about
to
it.
say that Gaby is not a medical professional.
Gina is thin, and that's what's shocking. Is she's always like super thin, and I'm super fat.
I know Gina's thin.
We
and
are
she's
the
on
epitome of King of Queens. You ever seen King of Queens? Like, I'm the fat guy. She's the attractive skinny wife. Why are we together? Who knows?
I don't know.
The producers have deemed it so.
She's probably hoping that you get some of that Paul Blart Mall Cop money
Maybe
somewhere.
so.
I don't know.
You should grow a mustache.
But Death Wish is for real? Like, is that a brand?
Is a brand. Highest caffeinated whole bean
That's
coffee
what
in
I'm
the
talking
world.
about. Speaking of keto, there's some stuff called Bang that everybody's on.
Why are we
It's like
talking
an
about
energy
this?
drink. It's an energy drink that's got 0 calories, 0 carbs, but it has sucralose, which gives you a 20% spike in your insulin levels anyway, so it doesn't really do you much good in the ketosis state.
Gaby's not a medical professional nor a nutritionist.
I'm not a medical professional, but I've dieted for the last 20 years of my life, so I know
I think
quite a
that you.
bit.
I wouldn't exactly use the term dieted.
Okay, I have read about diets.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
I have a vast knowledge in my head. All I need is application, and I do not know how to do it.
That's great.
But okay, back to Pandemic hard merge. I'm gonna make a segue. I'm gonna pay somebody to say hard merge.
Oh no.
I'm gonna do it myself.
No,
I think I sound pretty good.
you do sound good.
Hard merge.
You're like that guy.
I just wish
In a
you'd stop saying
world.
hard. Something, it's weird.
You just made it
weird.
You just made it weird, Mike.
The way you were saying it.
In a world without yield signs, hard merge.
Nothing but hard merge.
Okay, Pandemic. I cannot remember the first time I played it.
It's that long.
I can't. I don't remember why I played it, how I played it, when I played
You're
it.
probably lonely.
But I remember playing it with Mike a
Played
few
it with
weeks
Mike.
ago.
Mike.
And it's another one of those games. This is my deal with games. I'm very forgetful.
Yes.
I just forget what I'm
Gaby has. I'll just to give you some history. Gaby has literally bought a game that he owns that is sitting on his shelf.
Another
Bought it,
Gaby moment.
and then tell me I just bought this. I think that'd be great. I was like, we own that. It's on your shelf. What?
I forget. I have a terrible memory. But I bought Pandemic. I played Pandemic, and I forget that I enjoy Pandemic when I play it. It's not in my top games. It's not something that me and Jerry and the board game snobs are going to break out because we're not.
Your number one's not Pandemic Legacy. Your number two's not Generic Pandemic.
No.
Your number
It's not
three's not Fall
Iberia.
of Rome. Your number four's not Rise of
I
Time.
did buy Fall of Rome.
I wish I want to play it.
And the theme of Fall of Rome appeals to me. Everything I've read says that it changes up quite a bit of the mechanics.
Yes.
The Pandemic theme is there.
Does it feature real Romans?
I don't know. I like the theme,
But you haven't played it.
but I have not played it. I hear it's good. It's sitting on the shelf. It shall be played soon.
I want to talk about a co-op game that I dearly love.
And I will back you up on this 100%.
Okay.
Can you go beyond 100%?
No.
No.
Exactly.
People
So
say-
why do people say I gave it 110%?
That's
It's literally
That's because that's what
impossible.
their gym teacher says. And
It's impossible.
It's not possible.
100% is the max of anything.
It's a more of a psychological.
The only way you could do that is if like the expected capacity of this is
Let me explain to you about this.
10.
Motivation
Okay.
is
Then it
70%
blows up.
concentration, 40% physical, 20%
mental.
mental.
Do what?
What? That's exactly right. Flashpoint Fire Rescue.
That's what I'm talking about.
I want to talk about Flashpoint Fire Rescue.
Thank you.
One, I'm very sad that I didn't bring it to play with Mike, but I'm going to.
It's here, isn't it?
Nice.
No, I took it home.
Oh.
I recently painted the miniatures on it. I like painting minis. Did a good job on these, if I do say so myself. Flashpoint is basically kind of like a Pandemic game, except that has miniatures, and it's about fighting fires.
It is not basically Pandemic. It is Pandemic, but with better theme, better components, better game.
Okay. I have all the expansions for it, just about. I think there's one little thing I don't have. But Flashpoint is this neat little board game that has a grid of a house or various others, depending on the expansions. It might be a 2-story home or a submarine or a boat or whatever. Basically, the structure's on fire. And you roll these dice that show the grids. It's like a 6x8 dice. You roll it, shows out where the smoke and fire show up. And you're sending in your firemen to rescue people and to find out what's going on and to fight the fire. And I used to be a fireman. And so this theme is something that I really, really like just because it's light. And there's an advanced variant to it that makes the game much harder, but there's also a family version to it. I think that for my money, if I was going to tell somebody to buy a co-op game, which I don't like co-op games, but this is also a game you can play solo, I would definitely say you should probably play Pandemic, but you should buy Flashpoint.
Yes.
I like it. I like the fact that I painted the miniatures. I like the components. I like the various expansions for it. And it makes the game harder. It makes it different. It changes things up. You have these little characters, and each little character does something different. It's just fun. And I do not like co-op games. I brought this and said, Gaby, we need to play this because I've been talking about it for a while. Busted it out. We played it. Gaby, did you like it?
Loved it.
Loved it.
This is my deal with Pandemic. Pandemic is a good game mechanically. You have the breakouts, the outbreaks,
The rashes.
the outbreaks, the cards that are drawn, all that stuff. But there's zero theme.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah, the cubes are diseases.
It's cubes and pawns, and you have a world map.
Chlamydia don't
Research
look like
stations.
cubes.
No, there ain't no clam diddly. But fire point, flashpoint,
Fire
fire
point,
rescue,
flashpoint, fire rescue.
fire whatever. That is super thematic. Jerry paid these minis, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is Bob. Bob's gonna fight this fire." Oh, Bob's dead. Oh, Bob.
I remember there's this
Like literally my first play of the game. Fire explosion. Bob is dead.
there's this neat little mechanic in the game when you roll the dice and fire can show up on an area that is explosive. It has hazards.
Kind of like an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
so
an oxygen tank sitting over here.
when you flip the little token over and it's fire, all the smoke that's touching the token turns the fire. And so it travels down the smoke and blows up orthogonally.
It's the
in each
same thing as
direction.
the outbreak. It is literally the same thing as outbreak. The outbreak on pandemic.
Pandemic.
So it spreads out and it triggers this, triggers that, triggers this.
But sometimes your fireman is standing where the outbreak or the explosion.
Unfortunately,
the flashover.
I was at the only door open to where this fire exploded.
and it wiped.
It was
out.
literally my second move in the game. I'm gone.
and backdraft.
Backdrafted dead. Backdraft the game.
So you're just out at that
I was
point.
no. Well,
You can.
how's that go?
I think the rule is that you can select another fireman. I house rule it to where just like if I have a down fireman, the fireman gets down, you leave him there, and if another fireman can come rescue him,
Like resuscitate me.
resuscitates him, drags him out, he becomes a victim. Then that's just my own variant. I have actually. This is one of the few games. This is how much I like this game. This is one of the few games I've written my own rules.
Jerry's
for.
an ex-fireman.
I loved it because I've played this game I've played Flashpoint with people who aren't board gamers. I played it with Enrique's family. His dad is not a board gamer. He's not interested in board
Nope.
gaming. But it was very neat to watch him take command and be the fire captain and him radioing and him moving things around and him sitting there going,
Is your dad anti-sleeves?
No.
Only at beaches.
Only at beaches.
That's
appropriate.
That's appropriate.
Yes.
You know what's not appropriate? No sleeves in February.
Meeting new people
January.
in the living room. No sleep.
Whenever wintertime.
Wintertime. No sleeves.
Panama Jack hat, no sleeves.
No sleeves. But he has a jacket. He has a leather jacket.
He wore his
But
leather jacket
no
and then
sleeves.
broke out his guns.
Broke out the guns. You know how disconcerting it is to have him come into your home wearing a Panama Jack hat, a leather jacket, and for him to
I'm
take
so
off his jacket
confused.
and have no sleeves on and be wearing cargo
I look at
shorts.
the Panama Jack
Breakaway cargo
hat
shorts.
and I'm like, I look at the Panama Jack hat and I'm like, he's on vacation. Look at the leather jacket and I'm like, oh, but he's kind of tough. Then he pulls off his jacket and he's like, oh, he's got the gun showing. Then he has a cargo show. So I'm like, oh, he's on vacation again. I don't know what to do.
I am confused.
I'm so
I am
confused.
confused. I'm not confused about Flashpoint. I really like it.
Smooth segue.
Love
Nice.
it. I think
Jerry,
that, and I have all the
always.
expansions for it, and it just bloats the game. You can make
And the expansion that you had that we played where you draw cards for every move.
the newest expansion
It was-
that came out.
It was literally pandemic, but with a fire in the house, and it was so much better than pandemic. It was so much more thematic because you have your miniatures. You have the board is a diagram of a house. It's like a blueprint of a house. It is pandemic better.
I was at, where was I at? I was in Plano a couple weeks ago. Gaby, what should I buy? Crickets.
Wait, what?
When I was at, what was that stuff?
Madness.
Oh, Madness.
Madness,
Comics,
We frequent
yes.
Madness down in Plano.
Well, yeah, I know. This is.
But you know how we are about. So we have this thing.
I was
about-
trying to think of new stuff.
Yeah, we don't like borrowing board games because of.
Okay, so Mike has a family, his wife, and he has 2 young children. His
Do you love
oldest
your wife?
son is
Love her.
11.
11.
His oldest son is 11. And he gets super excited and he will bend the crap out of your stuff.
Oh,
for cards.
So we don't borrow borrow games.
So
from
Mike
Gaby?
doesn't like to borrow my games because he's afraid they're going to get ruined.
Oh, that's legit.
So I'm like, okay, I don't mind, but okay, buy your game. So you go to Madness.
Yeah. Could have suggested Flashpoint. He's like,
that was
look for
before-
Follow Rome. Look for Follow Rome.
That was before I played Flashpoint.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Gaby's not a good reviewer.
I'm not good. I'm not good at words.
Well, I will say this. If you're looking for a good co-op game, to me, Flashpoint is an excellent game.
Pandemic is like good, but if you really want to get thematic, Flashpoint is the way to go.
Boom. There it is. Well, that's all the time that we have this evening. I know because I got to finish my coffee. I'm Jerry.
Oh, am I next? This is Enrique.
I just don't know
Enrique
why.
forgot.
There we
who
go.
it
I don't
was.
think you said anything this whole podcast.
Oh, am I on this one?
If you would, please leave us a review.
No. Don't worry about it.
Jerry.
Nobody cares. We don't care. We don't
Jerry.
do this do
Jerry.
this podcast for ourselves.
Leave us
We
a
enjoy it.
review at iTunes. Leave us a comment, whatever, at Podbean. Whatever you're listening on.
Follow us on
Just
Twitter.
go on and click on and say, hey, we like these guys.
Like us on Instagram. Tickle us on Facebook.
Like us?
What else is there? Do our MySpace. Our MySpace is pretty awesome.
No.
We got some
Twitter?
Twitter.
Mostly Instagram and
LinkedIn.
Twitter.
Are we on Twitter?
We're on Twitter.
Wow.
Board Game Snobs.
Twitter.
What?
Instagram, Board Game Snobs. Board Game Snobs at Gmail. We even have a Tumblr, which nobody uses.
Nobody uses Tumblr. I got off
We
it.
have a website, boardgamesnobs.com.
We don't
You
really
can
post to it.
contact us there.
You can get on there and look
Jerry
at it.
doesn't leave any more reviews, but I will post when we have a new podcast coming out.
Nice.
All right. That's all.
All right, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.